Hello everybody and welcome back to Rebellious Menstruation. Today we are looking at my favourite stems on my menstrual cups. The cups that we have here are the Gigi Cup, the Hello Cups, and the Ruby Cups. So these are the Ruby Cups, the Lali Cup, and the Gigi Cub. So I'm just going to move the light to possibly maybe a little bit better position so that you may be able to see a bit better. Okay, let's continue. Stems are often the most maligned part of the menstrual cup and are more often than not cut off, as they can actually sit between the labia and cause quite a bit of irritation. I cut the stems off both my Diva cup and the Lunette cup when I still had them. I've since destashed both of these cups, which is possibly a good thing. Some people need to cut off all of the stems from the cups that they have. I have not cut off any of the stems in my current collection. I just kept looking for a better menstrual cup. I'll rephrase that. Both Diva Cup and Lunette are very, very good cups. They just weren't suitable to me. I have reviews up on them, and neither one was a particularly terrible experience. They just weren't particularly suited to me personally. Okay, so possibly the good thing about the selections that I have in front of you, or right here, is that there are obviously different shapes and styles and sizes of these stems. The purpose of the stem is to assist you in breaking the seal and moving the cup down and then obviously out your body. In other words, to manipulate the cup low enough for you to pop the seal and remove the cup. However, they can be relatively frustrating to get used to depending on the style of the stem itself. You can absolutely trim the stem either fully or in sections until you get something that's actually perfectly comfortable to fit inside your vaginal canal and not irritate your labia. When I first started using menstrual cups, I found that they climbed quite far up my canal because I had a high cervix, and this took some used to used to being able to remove them properly, or just remove them at all because they were so high up. And I found the stem, especially the flimsy, stretchy ones, very difficult to negotiate the cup low enough to break the seal and remove. And trust me, you will want to break the seal before you remove your menstrual cup, as it can be rather painful otherwise. I did find that out once and I never want to do that again. While suction is essential to prevent leaks, it can make removal more interesting under certain circumstances. Now back to these stems. Okay, I'm going to start with my personal worst stem in my collection. I'm really not pronouncing words. It's been a thing for like December and January, apparently. So this is the Lali Cup, and this is a really, really nice cup, to be honest. I have done a review of it. I'm just going to move these cups back a little bit and move this one over there so we have a little bit more room to have a look at this Lali Cup stem. Okay, I actually like this cup. It's really good as a third day cup. It is quite soft, as you can see, but it still actually maintains its integrity when you're putting in and pulling it out, so it doesn't actually irritate you going in and coming out, but it also holds itself to quite good integrity. This one here is actually quite soft. These have been washed like 4 times and they're still collecting dust. It is kind of like super frustrating that I keep cleaning these and then they just get like super dirty. Anyway, it's okay, I'll just have to clean them again. But yeah, so this one is, it is soft and it is quite flexible, but it also maintains an integrity, which is a bonus. However, the stem is thin. As you can see, it is a really thin, tiny stem, and it is really, really flexible. So obviously when it's inside and you're trying to reach in and get it, this is slippery, and so when you're trying to pull it, if you've just got this bit and you're trying to pull it down, or you're trying to maneuver it around, you know, it is actually, because, you know, you're trying to do this and it's just not working out for you. So here's your cup sitting and you're like, oh, I found the end of the cup, and it just doesn't move the cup. The cup does nothing. This just pulls, and this won't pull. This just stretches and stretches, and it won't pull the cup until you can feel these bits, the ridges down the bottom. It's practically dysfunctional as a wriggle device, as it is very flexible and can make it very hard to gently shift the cup down the vaginal canal. The base joint from the stem, so this bit right here, like so, this bit here, is also a bit difficult and flexible, and essentially doesn't do anything. So if you've got the cup and it's here, it doesn't move the cup. And that is just almost sometimes impossible to negotiate. So if we compare this to the Gigi cup, this one here is my high capacity cup, or the cup that I use for my high capacity days. It is a size 2. In fact, everything but this one's small, but the rest are the large in there. And this is a high cervix cup. So this is my high capacity cup that I use on my heavy days, or my heaviest day. The stem is it is thicker and rounder than the Lali cup, but you can flatten it out, and it's hollow on the inside. I'm not sure how much you can see. I'm not sure if it's focusing for you, but that's what it's doing. The stem, but that actually, the stem flattens out, as I just showed you, but this actually makes it less slippery and more easy to use, because once you've kind of grab it, it flattens so you can actually hold onto it. It actually, ironically enough, allows your fingers to grip it and not slip off when it flattens, because you've actually kind of got it like that, and then pulled it, and it will pull the cup. However, because this is also used on a heavy day, and keep this in mind, it is quite often full, and that means that generally I don't necessarily have to use the stem to reduce or pull it out. I can just reach, generally with even a little bit of internal muscle pressure, this will come out, and I can actually kind of reach this, because this will be full when I pull it out. So I can just kind of go, and it comes out really easy. I practically don't even need the stem in this situation. So just keep that in mind, that I can reach these grip rings quite easily, break the seal and remove the cup without necessarily having to use this stem. Next up, we've got the Ruby cup. I've got this in both black and red. I am actually a big fan of this cup for like a first day, because it is just so soft and squishy. It is just such a soft and squishy cup, and it feels so comfortable on the first day when you're really not in the mood for anything. It just does it. It's not painful. It doesn't hurt. It goes in really easy. It comes out really easy. It's just a delightful cup. I fill it up too quick to wear it on a heavy day. If it was just a bit bigger like the Yuki, I'd probably rather this on a heavy day, just because it's such a soft and delightful cup, and I basically can't feel it even on my first day. This is just seriously the softest cup that I have, and it has the best stem that I've come across. It's got these like little bubbles on it, dots on it. It's like a ribbed raised stem. It also is it's not very flexible at all. So if you're holding onto the cup and you try and pull it, it doesn't have much flexibility or softness at all. It is hollow on the inside, but it is much thicker than the, like as a body, it's much more thicker than the Gigi Cub, and it is much bigger than the Lali Cub, as you can see. And just this ribbed, and it just is so easy to kind of, what if as soon as you grab hold of this and start to pull, it will come out and you can reach the grip rings relatively easy, which is actually quite good with this one, because this one can go quite high up for me because I have such a high cervix. This ribbed stem is just great to hold on to and wriggle out. These are absolutely my favorite stem on a cup that I have found. This is easily just such a delightful cup to use even when I'm cramping. It is not very stretchy, as I said, and it makes the cup so much easier to negotiate down your vaginal canal to then break the seal and get out. And especially for someone like me who has that high cervix, it just works out really well. So that is Ruby Cup. Next up is this Hello Cup. I just recently did a review of this cup, which you can go and watch for. I got it in this large purple and this teal color. I do love this teal color, but I do not like this size. This size pushes on my bladder and I'm not a big fan of it. I will de-stash it to somebody at some point who might turn up and go, I need a menstrual cup, and I'll be like, don't worry, I have one. But outside of that, this, as you can see, is a New Zealand owned and made Hello Cup. It is made from TPE. All of my other cups here that you can see are made from medical grade silicone. This stem is the only ball style that I have, and it's actually quite a good style. It's quite solid, as you can tell. It has absolutely no flexibility in its removal. And this has the two divoted in. But yeah, so it has no, so as soon as you get hold of this, you've got the cup. It is actually a really good and solid stem to have on your cup. It is very easy to grab. It does not respond very well to moisture, so your hands are not slipping around from it when everything's a little bit wet and a little bit sticky. It is significantly easier to use than a stem. The ball seems to be easier to hold and wriggle out. I was very initially dubious about this design, but it is simply exceptionally easy to use, and I would pick this ball design over a stem design every day, in spite of the fact that this is my favourite stem on a Ruby Cup that I have found. This is still the better design. The last on our cup list is this Gigi Cub. This Gigi Cub, which also has these butterfly grip rings, which is just totally cute. It is a very adorable grip ring design. This is due for a review, but I simply haven't really, I got this back in October, I believe, and I am due to review it. I believe I was due to review it in December, but I just haven't used it enough to actually feel comfortable in giving you the information that I like to give you in a review. So I just haven't used it enough. I think I've used it twice in two different periods. I think I used it October and November, maybe. I definitely used it the first period after I got it. But even then, I think I only used it for one day, and definitely not my heavy day. This cup is a high cervix cup. It is obviously quite long, and it is easy to actually get to these grip rings because it's designed for people with high cervixes. So it's actually designed so this isn't very hard to get to. This grip rings, or the base of the cup, is actually obviously this pyramid shape, and is actually quite solid. So this is actually quite a solid state. They're not really hollow, so that's actually quite good because this is like a solid state stem, and it's actually not, as you can see, very flexible. It's probably in between the Lali Cup and the Yuki Cup. But again, it is far more solid than the Lali Cup, but not as easier to negotiate as the Yuki Cup. However, as I said, it is a high cervix, and it's made that you can get to these groupings a lot easier. So that is my stems on my cup, and they are my favourite cup, my favourite and my least favourite stems on these cups. Thanks for watching. I post Mondays and Thursdays. These cups will be linked below if you're interested in any of them, so you can have a look or for your reference. Appearing on screen will be the subscriber button, and there will also be a link to the Menstrual Cup review playlist for you to see the ones that I have reviewed. Outside of that, thank you for watching, and I will catch up with you all in the next video. Bye.